And then Steve and I have a go-to chicken place up there, too.
Yeah.
We're not in the mood for seafood. Yeah.
What was the name of that?
Kennedy's Fried Chicken?
No.
No.
No, but it's open year-round.
Pigeons.
It's right in the Hampton area by the police station.
Yeah, and the food is awesome there.
You ever been to Kennedy's Fried Chicken over on Maple?
No.
Yep.
No, I haven't.
Across from the Pony League there. The
Smells really good when I drive by, but I haven't stopped in yet.
Right. They have a window also. Hey.
Swing by.
I know. Hey, good stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. Katie, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.
We'll have Robbio here. Steve, thank you very much. We'll
Yep.
see you Friday. Polly, see you.
Yep.
Happy birthday.
Thank you,
Happy birthday.
Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. And Maddie, we will see you tomorrow.
I'll be here.
All right. Keep it right here. You have Matt Connerton Unleashed coming up at 4 p.m. And then, no GSM tonight. So keep it right here. WMNH 95.3. Adios.
As long as you have your health, be thankful for it and keep away from all these drugs and stuff that the kids are pushing today.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria.
For delivery, call 603-782-8450.
Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town.
1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Best cocktails around.
Come in as friends and leave as family.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
You are listening to WMNH-LP, Manchester's radio, broadcasting at 95.3 megahertz frequency modulation from the top of 1000 Elm Street. Our studios are located at 1045 Elm Street and licensed to Manchester Public Television Service in Manchester, New Hampshire, USA. Contact us by email at WMNH953@gmail.com or through our website at WMNHradio.org.
everybody. Welcome. Here we go. It is that time again. Matt Connerton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. And hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Wednesday, April 5, 2023. So nice to have you all with me. We've got a great show for you today. Coming up in the second hour, we're going to be joined by, we're going to be invaded, my friends. We're invading, or being invaded rather, by Texas, or Tejas, as I think they say. That's the ZZ Top album, one of the very early ones. Yes, because not only will Texas Mike be joining us live in studio, but we have a musical guest Skyping in from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Trinitite. And they're going to be joining us at 5 p.m. And we're going to play their newest song, which we've got. They just released a brand new video for the song. So I'm sure we'll talk about that. And we're also we'll play one of their older tracks as well. Looking forward to talking to those guys. Really heavy, loud, great stuff. Trinitite from Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. They will be Skyping in at 5 p.m. as well. By the way, the song that I opened with today, that is the band After Image. They were on the show recently. They came in. They did an acoustic set live in studio. Just incredible. Really, really great band. And that song, Eyes Wide Shut, that wasn't one of the ones, I don't think they played that live for us. I don't remember hearing that one live. And it's not one that we've played on the show before, but I was checking out some of their other material and really exploring their full catalog online. And I was like, oh my God, what a great song. So that is called Eyes Wide Shut. That is from the album Dying Gall. And the band is After Image if you're looking for them online. So yeah, everything they do is just so good. So we opened with some After Image, but we will have Trinitite at 5 p.m. In the meantime, I'm flying solo for the first hour, but I don't have to be solo. You can call in. 603-250-6007 is the studio line. 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. I'm on social media at Matt Connerton. You can email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. And of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat, and we will say hello to everybody in there in just a moment. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is to give us a call at 603-250-6007. By the way, I want to say happy birthday to our friend Paulie C., who, of course, is a very important member of the WMNH family. Paulie C. from Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C. Friday nights from 8 to 11 p.m. right here on WMNH. And I have the honor and privilege of being one of his co-hosts on that show, and we have a great time. Friday is absolutely my favorite day of the week. But today is Paulie C.'s birthday. So if you happen to see him, if you run into him somewhere, make sure you wish him a happy birthday. But I believe our friend Easy G is on the line. Hello. And he hung up. I guess he got nervous. I don't know what happened there. Well, anyway, that opens up a line for you. 603-250-6007 is the studio line. Oh, I think he's calling back. Easy, is that you?
Yeah, sometimes cell phone, it just hangs up.
Your cell phone hangs up, huh?
Two topics I want to talk about. The, Vince McMahon, did he really leave, WWE? He never did, right?
Well, even when he was quote-unquote gone, he always remained a majority shareholder in the company.
I saw an update on the WWE. This guy runs a little wrestling highlight show. Well, not highlights, but talks about things every day. And he said some wrestlers are pissed off now. They want to leave WWE because Vince McMahon's back in charge pretty much about creative again.
I blame Bruce. No, that is true. Yeah. Yes, Vince McMahon apparently. So Monday night's show of Monday Night Raw was actually trending online as worst Raw ever. Now, Jenny and I watched some of it last night on Hulu. We didn't get through the whole thing yet. It is a long show, but I thought it was okay, but definitely not. Didn't have the vibrance that a typical Raw
I couldn't believe they had the homeless guy
WrestleMania
come out
has.
again. That guy sucks.
They had a homeless guy come out?
Omos, he stinks.
Oh, Omos. Yes. I was going to say.
Brock Lesnar beat him in 6 minutes. He F5'd him, and he that was it. And he was done. The bigger they are, the bigger they fall. That guy is horrible. He needs to be fired.
Ooh, fired. You
I
want
couldn't
to
believe they came around on Monday night, and he
harsh.
brought this guy. It was just a stupid match. He just slammed him, and he said, "Oh."
Yeah,
You know, that's all he needs to say. That's all he needs to say. He don't say nothing. He goes, puts his arms up, and goes, "Oh."
That's his catchphrase.
It's
Oh.
horrible. The guy's off. I couldn't believe they put him back on.
Well, he's there. He's there to stay. Vince likes the big guys.
But anyways, you might know that guy Brock Lesnar. I guess the next storyline is, I don't know if I'm taking this. Everybody knows already that he beat the hell out of Cody Rhodes at the end of the show.
He sure did.
But they always say, Brock Lesnar is good for business. So I think the next storyline is they're going to face each other at Backlash, and he'll just go to the side as far as fighting Roman Reigns.
It appears so.
He lost, right? Isn't that when you lose, you go to the back of the pile?
I don't know if you go to the back of the pile. I believe the phrase you're
He
looking
wanted
for.
a rematch, but it didn't work that way.
What you've done here, Easy G, I just have to point this out. When you say back of the pile, I believe you've created an amalgam of two other expressions.
Right, I meant to say back of the line.
You've got back of the line. You can either be at the back of the line or at the bottom of the pile.
Did you see that match? It was a hell of a match.
But under no circumstances should you ever be at the back of the pile. If you are at the back of the pile,
40 minutes.
then you're
you don't
really
see it
in
on
trouble.
WWE anymore. 40-minute match. That was a hell of a match.
A 40-minute match. Wait, who had a 40-minute match?
No, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns head of the table. 40-minute match.
At WrestleMania?
Yeah, did you see it?
I didn't realize it was 40 minutes. Well, it went by
I watched every
more
minute
quickly.
of WrestleMania. I watched it the next day. It was unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
It started off really bad when a 6-minute match, and it started off really bad, but it finished really good. Of course. I'm not going to go on the highlights. Everybody knows by now, but
everybody knows.
I thought it was an A. It was an A because some of the start matches on Sunday were really bad.
I think you should go through the highlights for our friend Melanie La Liberty, who loves the wrestling talk. I think you should.
Right, but I'm not going to go over the highlights. Everybody knows. That's all
Everybody
news,
knows. Yes. Well, she already knows. I'm sure. Yes.
We're going on. We're going on to Backlash now. We're on the road to Backlash. Bad Bunny is going to be doing it in Puerto Rico. So we're moving on. Nobody wants to talk about WrestleMania anymore.
Well, I think they'll continue to talk about WrestleMania quite a bit. Do you realize, EZG, this was the most financially successful WrestleMania in the history of the company?
I agree with that. But Triple H came out with the opening gig was like 40 minutes last night between those guys coming out and I want a rematch. And so anyways, he came out Triple H with like a 15-minute promo. Nothing's changing. It's always going to be the same. But that was also BS because Vince McMahon is back and he was never gone.
He'll never be gone. Do you know, EZG,
Unless they fire him.
You've seen the mustache, right? His new mustache?
Oh my God, it's horrible.
Now,
What do you think of that new deal? But according to that Eric Privilege guy, the deal's not official till the government okays it. He said Peacock is still going to be around till 2026.
Well,
we had a long conversation the other day about wrestling and behind the scenes about that move. Do you think it's going to happen? According to Eric, he said, "Oh yeah, it's going to happen."
Yes, the merger. Yes, they wouldn't have announced it if they weren't expecting it to go through.
Why can't they fire Vince McMahon?
Well, Vince McMahon is locked in apparently to a 2-year deal. Now, Scott Robinson is asking. He has a question about WrestleMania EZG.
Right.
And I did see WrestleMania, but I missed this part. Scott is asking, how did the Hulkster do?
He's retired now. He's 70 years old coming up in August.
Oh, right.
Ric Flair's 74. Speaking of Ric Flair, he did a real good job introducing one of the wrestlers. I forget already, but the Conan was there introducing Rey Mysterio Jr. That was a highlight of the show. Oh my God, it was so good. It went on like half an hour.
You're talking about at the Hall of Fame.
His son pretended to leave when he did leave, and then he came into the. I'm not going to go over the highlights. Everybody knows what happened, but
I think
Conan
Melanie
introducing Rey Mysterio. That was gold.
I think Melanie wants to hear the highlights.
Nobody needs to hear the highlights. But anyways, I'm going to leave you on this thought.
Yes.
I was talking to the one and only Man McCarthy, and I was wondering, if they're going to have their wedding online, and they are. They're going to have it on for a Facebook Messenger. I was allowed to release that. I called Peter White, but he gave me a hard time.
Amanda?
He said, who cares? He said, I know you're going to be mad in 10 days that you love her more than Tom. I said, no. I said, they're in love. Why would I break that up, He said, oh, you want her more than Tom does. Peter, you won't let it go.
You could be the other man.
Yeah, but why wouldn't I break up their love? That would be evil, But it's going to be online at 4 o'clock on our Facebook page and our music Facebook page. So I think I'll be watching it. What the hell, you know?
A man of your
What else I got to do?
stature, Easy G, you're bound to wreck a few homes along the way. It's inevitable.
A few what?
A few homes. You and Bruce.
Oh, yeah. But if anybody cares, you can go to our Facebook page and on the music page, and it's going to be on at 4 o'clock, and the countdown is on in 10 days from now. So.
The countdown to the wedding?
Yeah, Ed and Ellie. You know Ed and Ellie? Did you ever meet them couple?
Who?
Ed and Ellie. Peter White got them
Oh,
together.
yeah. Oh, yes, of course, yes.
Their marriage was on mine, too, on Facebook.
I guess that's the
that's
new
the thing to do now. But I asked Katie, Katie from the morning show, I said, are you going to get your video going? She goes, N-O.
Who? Katie
Peter
Dobbins?
said, I guess you'll have to get an invitation. I said, that's okay. I don't really need to go, I don't really know Katie that well anyway, so it's no big deal if she's listening.
Okay.
You don't have to invite me. I understand. When I'm in Nashville, how am I going to get down there anyways,
That's true.
I don't really know Katie. And, when it comes to a wedding, they can only invite so many people.
That's
so
right. But if it's
We could
online...
go down to Florida and go to the wedding, but that would have been very difficult, especially now that I'm living here.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Nashua to
That was
Florida.
just a dream,
That's a haul.
That was a ridiculous dream, so.
It's a ridiculous dream, Easy G. Don't dare to dream.
If you see me going down there, that would never happen. I live here, so that can't happen. That's
Right.
That would be stupid,
There's an
I
old
don't think they allow
saying.
that anyways.
There's an old saying that I've heard. Once you live in Nashua, you can't go anywhere else.
Right, but I have some information about the relay, but I don't have it in front of me, so we'll get into that tomorrow. I invited Jenny there, I invited my friend Susan. So they have a great, I can tell you real quick, they have a great survivor's meal, lunch, and then it's great food. They order from a restaurant, the pizza, you love pizza. Of course, it's only for survivors, but you might be able to get a slice if you come over. But anyways, and then you give your name and your address, and they send you a survivor's t-shirt. So.
Uh-huh.
So I'll have more information about that tomorrow, so with a spoiler.
Oh. Why, you going to do an
All right, so I'll let you
entertainment?
go, and we'll talk to you about 24 hours. Have a
Well,
great show.
well, wonderful. All right, wow.
Boy, you should have known by now. Easy does.
And he is a real American, by the way. Very good. Well, that opens up a line for you, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. The studio line is open, and looks like our friend Shannon is on the line. Hi, Shannon.
Hello.
Shannon, do you consider yourself a real American?
That's questionable.
That's going to be my new thing. I'm inspired by the song Real American by Rick Derringer, Hulk Hogan's theme. By the way, Derringer, I think, is Canadian, if I'm not mistaken. But you know how, so I don't know if you've ever subjected yourself to Sean Hannity's radio program, but he ends every call telling the listeners who call in and just agree with him on everything, he ends every call saying, "You're a great American." So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my own twist on that because I want to be as successful as Sean Hannity is someday. So I'm going to put my own twist on it. I'm going to ask everyone who calls into the show, I'm going to start the conversation by asking, are you a real American? What do you think? Do you think that'll catch on? Do you think that'll work? It's a new thing I'm trying.
I think it would work, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm from another dimension, so more extraterrestrial than...
Yeah, you're an interdimensional being, but are you a real American interdimensional being?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember that word, interdimensional.
Interdimensional.
I'll forget it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But no, I get real ticked off when I hear... I listen to several news outlets that way. Maybe two match. Most likely they don't.
Uh-huh.
But as far as the information they put out. But, whether it's... I just heard it the other day, and I don't remember. Tennessee, I think it is. Or somewhere in Tennessee or Tallahassee. They want to put some kind of... pass a law for no drag queen shows.
Yeah, it's happening many places.
Okay, so how the hell? How can somebody? How do people consider it a free country when you can't be yourself?
Because, Shannon, the children. See, there are some people who believe that...
I mean, it's a free country as far as we're not getting mortar rounds, in our backyards.
But here's the thing, Shannon. There are some people who believe that not everyone is exactly the same, and that's a terrible threat. There's people who aren't like you and me, and we can't have that. Here's the truth, Shannon. I think that some people think that if you accept trans people, then all of our children are going to suddenly be trans or something. I don't fully understand it myself because it's not something I worry about, so it's hard for me to explain or relate to it, Shannon. But yes,
right.
There are many places where they're trying to ban drag shows because if you allow this to go on, next thing you know, all of America's children will be
that's their reason.
Trans or gay.
Ignorance.
Yeah, it's the alternative is we could raise children in this country to not be xenophobic about people who are different than they are and be accepting. And there's also that word tolerance, although I prefer the word acceptance, and treat everyone with dignity and respect. But who has time for that? So yeah, they're trying to ban drag shows everywhere they can.
There are a few people that respect me, and I'll tell you, there's a bunch of them on your radio station that do respect me. On the Facebook, maybe not, but the abortion thing too.
Mm-hmm.
That ticks me off because basically these men and some women are saying, no, you got yourself in the family way. You take care of it and you have your baby and whatever, but. You should. If there was a fly blot on my wall while I was listening to the news, people would crack up because I say the women that gave birth to these men and women should just turn around and shoot them because they're not giving them the rights.
Oh my goodness!
Well, you know what I mean.
We don't want anyone.
Well, no. That's a bit violent, but I don't know. Trump's mommy still alive?
Is who still alive? Trump's mother?
Yeah, his mother. I don't know if she's alive or not, but how would he feel if
she's not?
She's not. Okay, well then I'm sorry, but do you know what I'm trying to say?
No, Shannon. I have to say you lost me a bit. Actually, Shannon, I can say more than a bit. I'm completely confused.
Okay. Well, when you have this representative from this state, this legislature from this state, and congressmen from that one,
yes,
all saying no, we're going to ban abortions, and we're going to ban a woman's right to choose, no matter what, no matter if it was accidental, on purpose, rape, whatever.
Right.
So they're basically going to be made to have those children.
Yes.
And who knows? What am I? I hate what. You know what? One of the reasons I called up was because I'm bouncing off the trail because I'm not getting anywhere there. Easy sounds a bit hyper aware. I want to say, nothing bad. Easy, if you're listening, you just sound. And it's a full moon tomorrow night.
Oh.
So maybe that's why I can't spit out what the hell I want to say.
Maybe. Did you know, Shannon, that incidents of like police reports and just general weird things happening that people have to respond to actually increase during a full moon? You wouldn't think there would be a correlation there, but apparently there is.
Oh, there absolutely is. Your brain is made up of, I believe the number is 74 or 70. One thing I heard was 83% water.
Mm-hmm.
The other one was 70-something% water.
Yes.
So if the moon has the power to move the tides of the oceans, they're going to mess with whose ever head they choose to mess with.
Right.
I think that's the reason behind increasing crimes and all kinds of things. And happy birthday, Paulie C., by the way. I tried to call this morning to wish him a happy birthday and actually say hi to him in person because I could never get through on Retro Spectrum Radio.
Yes. But, Paul does not always take calls on that program. Actually, rarely does he because there's a lot of music and it's quite formatted.
Oh, I understand that. I don't call anymore because for some reason he doesn't hear me.
Right, right.
He says, I don't understand it. I say, nobody's there, so whatever.
Well, Shannon, is it possible that late in the evening you are you're sort of straddling dimensions because you are an interdimensional American, of course, and perhaps you're not entirely in this dimension, so that makes it difficult to hear you.
Well, on maybe that's very possible. I could be out of the frequency range.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But you just made me think of something.
Oh.
What is the...
Is it pizza that I made you think of?
No. And I don't want the people on Facebook laughing or complaining for a second, please. Where would I go to find out? I see shadows. Okay, I see shadows of, like, a human form.
Okay.
Okay. I also seem to know when something's going to happen. Whether it's a day before or weeks before. It's nothing. It's nothing bad that I can warn someone about or whatever.
Go on.
Huh?
I said go on.
But I just have a sense of. I think God gave me an extra gift because of what's taken away. But I just didn't know who I would contact to find out how. I mean, I don't communicate with these people or with spirit, whatever they are.
Yes.
I mean, they're around. I had my head on my pillow the other night. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it felt like someone put their hand on that pillow behind my head, just to let me know they're there. The cat was by my foot. There was no other explanation for my pillow moving like that.
Uh-huh.
It was just a gentle little, pressure on, enough to let me know I'm here, but that's what I know. I want to find out, like, who.
Is it possible that you're experiencing sleep paralysis?
No, I'm serious.
I'm serious too. It's a serious question.
No, I'm wide awake. You mean when you wake up suddenly and you're paralyzed, you can't move?
Well, you think you're wide awake when it's happening, yeah.
Yeah, no. This is when I'm still trying to get comfortable and fall asleep.
Because sleep paralysis manifests itself in some different ways. I mean, I've had it where I was sure someone was standing over me, and I couldn't move, and it was dark, and I couldn't see anything, and couldn't feel anything, but I was sure that someone was standing over me. But
well, I said to Peter the other day, I was standing not on top of, but at my countertop.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you just put your elbows on the table, you're in front of a table, right? Or board?
Yes.
If you put your two hands, well, you got earphones on, so that doesn't. When your earphones are off, just take your hand, look at it straight ahead, and then slowly just pass it around your side of your face, around past your ear. You'll hear, when it goes past your ear, a difference in air, I want to say. It just, it makes a little, you know something's there because you can almost hear it.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So I was standing at my countertop the other day. I thought the cat jumped up because I sent something over and he's not even there. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's just weird. I don't.
Well,
I don't mind it, but I don't understand it, and I want to try to understand it.
Melanie has advised me in the chat room not to do what you just suggested because you didn't say Simon Says. It's a trick.
Oh.
I noticed that
not
too.
To do what did I just suggest I was going to do?
No, you said I should, put my hand by my ear and, yeah.
Oh. Well.
Yeah.
Okay,
and we're not square dancing either, so I can't take these commands. But
right. Well, I'm saying to get, I know she's just kidding, but to get the sense of what I'm talking about, if you were to do that, or close your eyes from when you're going from one room to the other, just past the threshold.
Yeah.
And you'll hear that, the echo location, like.
So does this bother you when this happens?
It doesn't bother me, but there was a lot of stuff last Tuesday that just jived and.
What kind of stuff?
The day I flipped out, you must have heard it. I just all
No, I didn't hear it. You flipped.
connections. I had an uncle who was in the 5th chapter. It's a motorcycle group. You have to be clean and sober.
Oh.
And he died when he was 46 years old.
Oh.
And ironically, my cousin in 2017 took me out to lunch. And I stupidly, I don't know why I said it to him, but I says, I'm the age your father was when he died. And he says, yeah, he died today. And I'm like, oh. And that was just weird. There hasn't been an April 1st on a Saturday since, I believe, 2017.
Okay.
You don't have anybody there to research it, but
yeah, no.
I don't believe the days have been the same as they are now in 2017.
Okay.
And it just seems like things are repeating themselves. But I lost my dog on April 2nd, 2017. It was a Sunday.
Yeah.
It was a Sunday. And I don't know. This April 1st, there was a nice thunderstorm. It was like someone was trying to tell me, don't be sad. I don't know.
I wouldn't start reading things into the weather. I mean, I'm very paranormally open. So I'm not someone who's going to scoff at the idea that maybe there's something or someone there, so to speak. I've had, I don't talk about it much on the show because then people will think I'm nuts, but I've experienced things that I can't fully explain. Not really seen things, but heard things, and there's a whole long story I actually told on a television show that I appeared on once. But
you should do a show on it someday.
Yeah. It's
tell the story.
It's I do believe that poltergeists exist, and who knows, Shannon? I mean,
I don't think the poltergeists are the ones that'll throw something if they want to.
Well, they like to move things around.
Yeah, things don't move around here. I just get a touch, a sinking on my pillow, or at one point I woke up to, it felt like there was a hand just over the top of my foot, just to say hi. I'm just passing through.
Yeah.
That was real. It didn't scare me. I didn't turn a light on to see who it was because I knew it was someone saying, just checking on you.
Yeah. Well, that's nice then. That's a good thing.
But anyway, yeah.
Well, all right,
So,
Shannon.
Could you do me one favor?
That entirely depends.
Possibly Monday,
Mhm.
because I won't spring it on you for the next 2 days.
Uh-huh.
Could you play that song I asked you to play? The one song you played for me specially. It was a few weeks ago. I don't remember the song.
I don't either.
If anybody, Melanie, if you could help me out. It was a really pretty song. It had ocean sounds in it, guitar, guy singing.
Yes. Nick Rolser. And the song is... Can't remember what song it was.
Wait, Nick Rolster?
Rolser. Rolser. Nick Rolser. We had him on the show. Phenomenally talented. I can't remember what song it was, though. But you know what? It'll probably come to me. It took a minute for the who the artist was to come to me. I'm sure I'll remember what song it was, too. And yeah,
Rolser, yeah. It was something about water or...
Yeah, if I look at his stuff, if I see the title, I'll recognize it. And yes, I will play that for you on Monday, Shannon. That's a great
All
song.
right, thank you very much. You have a lovely evening.
All right, Shannon, you got it. Take care.
Take it easy.
Yes.
Okay, bye.
All right, Shannon. Bye-bye. All right, 603-250-6007 is the studio line, 603-250-6007 if you'd like to get in with a call. Yeah, I am, I'm very open to these things. I've lived in places where, you hear somebody, they sound like they're searching for some silverware in the middle of the night in the kitchen, and you go, oh, I'm the only one here. I wonder why I'm hearing a sound like that. But, I'm open to anything, but... let's see. Well, let's say hello to everybody in the Facebook live chat. Our friend Eric Pilcher joins us all the way from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He, of course, does... JFed says, that's a mouse. Yeah, I figured someone would say that. No. What I heard was no mouse. But I don't want to get into it. I told that story. You know what? If I can find it on YouTube, I'll share it out after the show for anyone who's curious. I tell a whole story about my mother's involved in it. It's a whole thing that I told on Ken Gidge's show back in, what was it, like 2015? And I will share that out. It is on YouTube. I'll find it and I'll share it out if for anyone who's curious. But of course, yes, Eric does our classic film reviews on Friday. Eric Gagnon, Easy G, is in the Facebook live chat. Jenny, of course, is in the chat and says, "Shalom, peeps." JFed says, "Good afternoon, everyone." And Jenny says, "Happy birthday to Paulie C." Tom Blanchard joins us in the chat room. Yeah, Melanie, I was being sarcastic about the wrestling talk. Melanie does not like that, as she expressed in the chat room. Scott Robinson, of course, was asking about the Hulkster. Let's see. JFed says, "Will you ask the same person more than once?" Oh, yes, my new thing. When people call, I will ask them right up front. Again, it's kind of a twist on what Sean Hannity does at the end of the call. If you call into Sean Hannity's show and you agree with him on absolutely everything at the end of the call, which is what you're supposed to do with conservative talk radio. You're supposed to just call in and agree with everything, and it's a celebration of groupthink. So if you call into Sean Hannity's show and you agree with him on everything, at the end of the call, he'll say you're a great American. So I have a new twist on that. When people call into my show, I'm going to ask them if they're a real American, as referenced in the Rick Derringer song, Real American. I think it's going to be great. I think this is really going to take off, and I think it's going to launch this show into the stratosphere. You know, sometimes it's the little things that really just can help to hook in a big audience. I'll tell you. Melanie said there are worse things than a transgender person, like a wrestling fan. That is way worse. Ouch. No, and of course, I hope people know I was being sarcastic with my comments regarding the trans issue. No, I consider myself an LGBTQ plus ally, always have, and I support. That's not an issue specifically I get into much on the show, but I take a broad view of it. I support every American's right to be their authentic selves and to identify however they wish to, be whoever they are or whoever they aspire to be. And as long as they're not hurting anyone else, I support it. And I absolutely do not support treating those people with hate or bullying. And what we see coming out of, you know what? I will say this, and I hadn't planned on talking about this, but I'm just going to throw this in. I just saw a new poll. Actually, this was yesterday I saw this. 55% of Republicans polled in this one survey. Now, I wish this number was higher, but 55% of Republicans in this particular poll, so, it is more than half, which is good, said when asked that they felt that all this, or at least some of this anti-trans legislation that's being passed in various places around the country is unnecessary and it goes too far. And I was heartened to see that. Like I said, I wish that number was higher, but 55%, that's more than half of Republicans who are not on board with this particular aspect of the culture war. Melanie was also expressing in the chat room some, encouraging Shannon to maybe seek some mental health, and that is, if you think you're seeing things that obviously that could be an indication of, I don't want to say too much about it, and I can get in over my head pretty quickly, but that can be an indication that something has gone wrong or is going wrong in terms of one's mental health. So that is something to absolutely consider. I've experienced weird stuff. Maybe I have an issue. I do struggle with depression, but, let's see. Oh, JFed says he would like to hear my story. Yeah, I'll see if I should be able to find that on YouTube and I'll share it out. Oh, Shannon is calling back. Hi, Shannon.
Hey, I assure Melanie, this is not anything, it's not mental illness stated, it's more of a physical thing.
Okay.
And I'm not going to get into like my medical history or whatever, but whatever. I don't know.
I do think Shannon, though, she's expressing genuine concern. I don't think she would.
No, I know, because I lost my S last Tuesday, and I even cried on the air, and I felt terrible. And then, Matt's, you should call somebody. There's nobody to call. There's no place to go at that point in time. There's just the need for someone to talk to you for a minute. And
of
treat you
course,
like a human being.
Of course, yeah. No, I just, like I said, though, I just wanted to be clear that I don't think that she was trying to. I don't think she was making fun of you or anything like that. I think she was expressing genuine
concern.
concerns.
Either.
Okay, good.
I just wanted to assure her, and maybe you can say, I'll mail you something, and then, but don't disappear. I mailed Rob Acevedo something, and now there's no more GSM. Granted state of mind.
Yeah.
I mailed something. I mailed something to them, and they disappeared. I haven't been on since.
Well, I assume he'll be back,
but
unless there's something.
I'll write something down to you. Maybe you just text it to her. I don't know.
Okay.
I have a feeling that if I say anything to anybody, everybody knows.
Okay.
Meaning, if I were to send you something and then you text it to her so that she knows.
Right.
I don't want to spread around, in other words, so I probably shouldn't just say anything.
Well, I'm trustworthy, and I believe that she's trustworthy, but I also understand your concerns. So that's up to you, Shannon. Whatever you choose to share or reveal. Listen, for the record, I appreciate that you felt safe enough to call into my show to share this.
Yes,
I appreciate that.
I thank you that A, you respect me, and, and B, that that people do care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Jeff Nyon is not on that list. He said there is 100% something wrong with me. Yes, there is. But he said it on the air. That wasn't nice.
Well, Jeff, I think Jeff's a really good guy, but he has his sense of humor can be a little rough.
Dry.
So, yeah. So I wouldn't take that personally. He was probably.
I don't take it, but
yeah, he was probably just kidding around. He likes to.
He's the one that has a case of beer brought to his table at a wedding. So I'm not.
Huh?
You didn't hear that?
No. What?
He was at a wedding or something somewhere, and he was the bartender, so he just got a case of beer at his table at this particular event, wedding, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And that's just funny.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's all.
Okay. All right, Shannon.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007 is the number to call. We do have, if you're just joining us, coming up at 5 p.m. today, we have Trinitite, a great band from Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, who are going to be Skyping in. And Texas Mike is going to be joining us in studio as well. So, as I mentioned earlier in the show, we will be invaded by Texas, or by Texans. Not literally, of course. Don't anyone panic. I don't want Dave Ridley to hear this and think that New Hampshire, because Dave wants, of course, New Hampshire to be independent, wants New Hampshire to be our own country. I don't want Dave to panic and think we're being invaded by another state preemptively. Because in theory, if it was a serious prospect that New Hampshire was about to secede from the United States of America, it would make sense that maybe another state would want to invade us, either to prevent us from seceding. Although Texas itself has a very strong secessionist movement there. That always fascinates me. It's an interesting dichotomy and paradox. Some of the most outwardly, overtly patriotic people I've ever met. They got the flags on the trucks and everything. They love America so much they can't wait to leave it and be a separate country. It's very odd. But yeah, Texas, Alaska, and right here in New Hampshire, of course, we have a secessionist movement. None of it's ever going to happen. But hey, God love them. If they want to try. And it's something to do, I guess. Anyway, so I want to put us, obviously this week we've spent we've spent some time on Trump and the arraignment that happened yesterday. And I do have something that I want to get to on that from factcheck.org regarding Trump's presentation last night. But I think we'll have to save that for after the Trinitite interview because a couple of other things that I did want to get in that are not related to that, because I don't want the Trump thing to just kind of suck up all of our time. Something else happened monumentally important, I think. Maybe not monument. Well, I don't know. I mean, it depends on how you view it. It is something that can have potential global repercussions. This is from Reuters, and this is a big deal, but it kind of got lost in the media underneath all the Trump. Finland joins NATO. It is now official, so welcome Finland, who I believe, by the way, is the happiest country on Earth. This has been studied, and Finland is the happiest country on Earth. But Finland has joined NATO in a historic shift, and Russia is not happy about it, of course. So this is from Reuters. Some key points from this. Finland ends military non-alignment adhered to since 1945. Non-alignment meaning not having any allies or alliances, or allegiances. No defense treaties with other nations, just being on their own and just saying, hey, we're just a neutral place. NATO accession is spurred by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And Russia is claiming that Finland has made a dangerous historical mistake. By the way, this is a great example of Putin getting the exact opposite of what he wanted. He certainly did not want another bordering country joining NATO. Finland, of course, directly borders Russia. So that's probably not what Putin had in mind when he invaded Ukraine. But this is what Putin gets. Finland, again, this is from Reuters, formally joined NATO yesterday. Like I said, this happened yesterday, but it got lost in all the Trump. Its flag unfurling outside the military bloc's Brussels headquarters in a historic policy shift brought on by Russia's invasion of Ukraine that drew a threat from Moscow of countermeasures. Oh, hello to the band Sepsis, who joins us in the Facebook live chat. Nice to see you. Finland's accession, ending 7 decades of military non-alignment, roughly doubles the length of the border the North Atlantic Treaty Organization shares with Russia and bolsters its eastern flank as the war in Ukraine grinds on with no resolution in sight. No resolution indeed. As I say all the time, I have no idea what the off-ramp is here. Finland's flag, a blue cross on a white background, was hoisted alongside those of the alliance's 30 other members as the military band played in bright spring sunshine. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg declared in the ceremony, quote, "For almost 75 years, this great alliance has shielded our nations and continues to do so today. But war has returned to Europe, and Finland has decided to join NATO and be part of the world's most successful alliance," unquote. Stoltenberg earlier noted that Russian President Vladimir Putin had cited opposition to NATO's eastward enlargement as one justification for invading Ukraine. Stoltenberg said, quote, "He is getting exactly the opposite. Finland today and soon Sweden will become a full-fledged member of the alliance," unquote. Finnish President Saul Niinisto, I'm sure I'm not saying that correctly, said Finland's most significant contribution to NATO's common deterrence and defense would be to defend its own territory. There is still significant work to be done to coordinate this with NATO, he said. At a joint news conference with Stoltenberg, he said, quote, "It is a great day for Finland, and I want to say that it is an important day for NATO," unquote. The Kremlin said Russia would be forced to take countermeasures. Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said Finland's accession raised the risk of the Ukraine conflict escalating further. In dropping non-alignment, Russia's foreign ministry said Finland was committing a dangerous historical mistake that would fray relations with Moscow and undo its status as a confidence-building presence in the Baltic Sea and Europe at large. A ministry statement said, quote, "This is now a thing of the past. Finland has become one of the small members of NATO that doesn't decide anything, losing its special voice in international affairs. We are sure that history will judge this hasty step, unquote. Well, it seems to me, by the way, that now joining NATO, Finland has a louder and larger voice in international affairs. I don't think that prior to this, people were necessarily that invested in what does Finland think, just globally, but they're non-aligned. Well, what's the matter, right? I mean, no disrespect to Finland, but I think as long as they remained non-aligned, which I can understand why they would want to, but I don't think that they necessarily had much of a voice, but now they do. In my opinion. Russia said on Monday it would strengthen its military capacity in its west and northwest in response to Finland joining NATO. Ukraine hailed Finland's step. President Volodymyr Zelensky said in his evening address, quote, "I congratulate all the people of Finland. Russian aggression clearly proves that only collective guarantees, only preventive guarantees can be reliable," unquote. And then there's a portion here about the end to military non-alignment. Finland's era of strategic non-alignment began after the country repelled an attempted Soviet invasion during World War II and opted to maintain friendly relations with neighboring Russia. But the invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, it's been, what is that, 14 months now, prompted Finns to seek security under NATO's Collective Defense Pact, which states that an attack on one member is an attack on all. That's Article 5, of course. Since the end of the Cold War 3 decades ago, Moscow has watched successive waves of NATO enlargement, and the issue was contentious even before the invasion of Ukraine. NATO has repeatedly stressed that it is solely a defensive alliance and does not threaten Russia. Moscow says the funneling of heavy weaponry to Ukraine by NATO countries since the war began proves the West is bent on destroying Russia. Finland's accession brings NATO significant military capabilities. It is one of the few European countries to have retained a conscription army through decades of peace, wary of Russia next door. Finland's ground, naval, and air forces are all trained and equipped with one primary aim: to repel any Russia attack. In Finland, people said their country's entry into NATO made them feel more secure. People in the Russian city of St. Petersburg, only about 150 kilometers from the Finnish border, said Finland would make problems for itself by joining NATO. Finland and its neighbor Sweden applied together to join NATO last year, but Sweden's application has been held up by NATO members Turkey and Hungary. Yeah, Turkey in particular, I think we can probably agree is the, shall we say, least helpful member of NATO in some ways. Swedish Foreign Minister Tobias Billström, Tobias is a cool name, told reporters it was Stockholm's ambition to become a member at the NATO summit in Vilnius in July. Turkey said Stockholm harbors members of what Ankara considers terrorist groups, which Sweden denies and has demanded their extradition as a step toward ratification. Hungary cites grievances over Swedish criticism of Prime Minister Viktor Orban's record on democracy and rule of law. Well, those criticisms are well placed, I would say. But so we'll see. We'll see, but yeah, congratulations to Finland. It is stunning to think, though, that NATO is now more than 30 members. I mean, that is Russian or Russia apologists will tell you that or even some that I wouldn't necessarily put in that category, but that NATO already had expanded too much, and that's why Putin has become so paranoid. But in this instance, let's be honest, this would not have happened. This secession would not have happened. Finland or ultimately Sweden, when they, assuming they can get past these barriers, when they join, none of this would have happened if Russia had not invaded Ukraine. So you can put that one squarely on Putin. All right. We are approaching the top of the hour. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to show some love to our amazing sponsors. And so we'll take a little break. And then we're going to play from Trinitite. I think we'll play the first song that they that I have here that came out a while ago, Defiance in Vain. And then we'll play the single, Synesthesia, if I'm saying that correctly, at the end of our conversation, because those guys are going to be Skyping in. I'm not sure how many of the band are going to be joining us, but they're going to be Skyping in from Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. So really looking forward to speaking with them. And our friend Texas Mike is going to be joining us live in studio as well. So like I said, we're going to be surrounded by Texans. But so there's plenty more to come here on Matt Connerton Unleashed. Don't go away. Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, 3 dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria.
For delivery, call 603-782-8450.
Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town.
1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Best cocktails around.
Come in as friends and leave as family.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
WMNH, rip the knob off.
That is Defiance in Vain. That is Trinitite. That's some pretty intense stuff. This is Matt Connerton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. Hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. And we've got the guys from the band Trinitite on Skype with us. How are you guys?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. Who do we have with us?
I guess we'll just go in order. You got Blake with and Tim on one side, and then we got Devin and Randy on the other side.
Okay, are we missing anybody, or is it just the four of you?
Oh yeah, we're missing Zach. He's having some car trouble, so he couldn't make it over here.
Gotcha. Well, welcome to the show. And by the way, we have a fellow Texan in studio with us. Texas Mike is at the news desk. Give us a yeehaw there, Texas Mike.
Yeehaw!
Texas Mike goes way back. He used to be, he was a AWA tag team champion with Blackjack Mulligan back in the 1970s. But you guys are from Dallas Fort Worth, is that correct?
Yep.
Cool. What is so? Tell me about the name. You probably get sick of answering this. I'm sure you get asked all the time. But what is the name Trinitite? Where does that come from?
I think I can take that one. Trinitite came. That was, let's see, when they did the atomic nuclear testing, when they're working on the H-bomb, they were practicing it out in the desert with the Project Manhattan and whatnot. So when the bombs would detonate in the desert, it would cook the glass under it so quick, and they called that glass Trinitite. I thought that was just a very nice name.
Yeah, there you go. How long have you guys been together as a band?
About 5 years now.
Yeah, okay. 5. Oh, wow. So you've been around a while. Cool. Has it always been the lineup that it is now, the five of you?
Yep. Yes.
Oh, that's unusual for in my experience for a band to be around 5 years and with five members and not have any changes. That's great. Is it hard? A lot of bands are four members. That seems to be the most common. Is it hard with five guys in the band to find time to do everything? To schedule shows and to schedule rehearsals and all of that. Is that ever a challenge?
It's always hard with five guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. It's trying to get all of our schedules to link up, with day jobs and whatnot. It's definitely hard, but we're all pretty good friends, so it's always worth it to make it work out.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, obviously, in the and by the way, we're going to play at the end of the interview. We're going to play the other track, Synesthesia. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
So we'll play that in a little bit. And by the way, I saw the video. That just came out today, right? The new video?
It did.
Yeah, it did. Yep.
Awesome. Good timing. So now, obviously, we heard that song Defiance in Vain. Anyone can hear, you really vocally, you've got that loud, soft dynamic where there's singing, but there's also the growly approach. Is that one of you, or do you guys split that up, or how does that work?
It's two of us.
Okay.
I do the singing. Zach, who couldn't be here today, he does the screaming.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's pretty intense. I mean, is that common in are most of your songs constructed that way vocally, where it's the two parts?
Yeah, I'd say most of our songs are pretty close to a 50-50 split of, who kind of has what part. It kind of works out that way. It never have to argue this part should be heavier, this part, it just, the way you write, it just kind of organically comes out like that.
I think it's just the types of voices we had available, and when you start to sit down and write a song, that just comes naturally based on what we have available to us in the room.
Yeah, that's good. Does that organic approach, does that work in a broader sense as far as the music in terms of songwriting? Do you all write together, or how does that work?
I found we get a lot of our writing done when one of us is absent for the day.
Really? Yeah.
I've had many practices where I've come in I missed the last week because of work or something, and they'll be like, hey, instead of practicing, we just wrote 3 new songs.
Yep. That makes sense.
that does happen, but for the most part, we want everybody's input, and like we don't leave someone out. So when Randy does show up, he will come in and he will put in his touch and say what he doesn't like and what he does like, and we want, when we put a song out, when we finish a song, it has to be 100% great from all five of us. We don't put anything out that one of us feels like on the fence about.
Sure. That makes sense, though, as far as, if somebody can't be there, using that time for writing. I was in the one band that I was in where it was five of us. It was a band from this area called First Shove. And it was that kind of thing where if somebody couldn't be there, there were five of us. If one of us couldn't be there on a certain day for rehearsal, we would use that time to write something or just kick around ideas. It just made sense to do that. So, and where do you guys record? Because this has been, especially over the past, actually, really, I think since COVID, this has been, to me, a subject that is particularly interesting to ask guests about, because, we live in a time where, we have many different options. There's the old school way of you go to a $1 million studio and you pay a lot of money to record. And, of course, we live in a time where you can still do that. That's an option. There's a million studios, but you can also record tracks at home. You can email them back and forth, et cetera. And I feel like, while that was already a thing, once the pandemic hit, people really started utilizing that method a lot for creativity. So how do you guys record? What's your process?
It's all DIY.
Yeah.
Like the song Defiance in Vain that you played earlier, every instrument was recorded in Randy's house.
Yeah.
Like in either his living room or like his bedroom. I think is where we did the drums, or like
Yeah.
the spare bedroom. And then the vocals, we did that in my closet, my old apartment. And then the song Synesthesia for the video that just came out, we did that in our for the most part. So a little bit there, but if it's all been, what space we have available to us, we'll try and make it the best one.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of. Oh, there we go. It's
yeah. Okay, yeah. I think his mic cable was getting mixed up. But what he was saying is that with Synesthesia, we recorded most of it at our rehearsal studio.
Yeah.
And like we recorded all the drums there, and then like guitars and stuff we did there as well, and then for vocals we did at a friend's house who's got a little vocal booth. But for the most part, we try to spend as little money as we can.
Yeah.
On all of this.
Yeah, yeah. No, that really is DIY. You're doing it all yourselves, and that's cool. You got a great sound out of it. It's working. So,
yeah.
And that's true for both of these tracks. The one that we played and the one that we're going to be playing. Same process.
Yeah, I wouldn't say same process. It was.
Whoa! Somebody's scratching a record. You guys still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
I have no idea what that was. That was crazy.
It sounded like either a record being scratched or somebody zipping up a big heavy coat. Sounded like the zipper of a coat.
Yeah, it did sound like that. With Synesthesia, we did more research on recording and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And we did a better job of actually doing tracking and stuff on it versus Defiance in Vain, which Defiance in Vain was the first time we've ever done anything like that. So,
okay.
We didn't know what the heck we were doing at all.
Okay. Do you guys play a lot of shows? Because we've had, as I'm sure we've had other bands from your area on the show, and it sounds like it's a pretty vibrant music scene there in Dallas, Fort Worth.
It used to be before COVID. It used to be a lot better.
Yeah.
There was a lot more venues. And then, like, once we started coming out of the whole pandemic and stuff, it's starting to pick up a little bit. Like, I think this year, so far, we're playing more shows than we did last year.
Good.
But they're coming out of COVID. Surprisingly, there's a lot more bands. Like, I'm seeing more bands than I did before. Because before, it was like we would always see the same 5 or 6 bands playing shows everywhere.
Yeah.
And now there's so much now, and it's awesome.
That's interesting. I wonder why that is. If I had to guess off the top of my head, probably just a lot of people met online, and started musical projects together. Whereas they might not have otherwise had time to start something, or I don't know, but that's interesting. That's cool.
I think it's interesting too. It could be just a lot of people who were talking about starting a band, and then they had the time during the pandemic to actually start it, and they really enjoyed it. It could be that. Yeah,
that's good. I mean, it's nice when something positive can come out of something negative. That is truly out of this terrible pandemic. At least it's opened up a lot of creative opportunities for people, or just motivated people to do things that they might not have otherwise had time to do creatively. So when you can take something like that and do something creative with it, that's always a plus. Our friend JFed, and I will caution you, he is all the way up here in the great state of Vermont. So before you commit to anything, I'll just tell you where he is geographically. But he's asking, and he asks all of our musical guests the same question, because he's looking for someone to play his wife's birthday party in September. Do you guys play birthday parties? He's wondering.
If it pays well enough.
Very good. And the other thing I must tell you is that if it pays well enough and you do wind up agreeing, he will probably ask you to join him in his ice bath. And I don't know if any of you have ever done an ice bath, but he does it every day. I know this because he posted on social media. Personally, it wouldn't be for me. I would be concerned about hypothermia. But again, something to consider before you commit to anything.
Ooh, that's a stretch for me. I'm a $125 when wet, so I don't know if I can handle being in an ice bath.
You might just instantly freeze. Yes.
Yeah, that's how I die, guys. Later.
You do guitars now.
Oh
it's
boy.
Cool. We'll thaw you out on the plane ride home. It's cool.
Right. There you go. Yeah. Under a heat lamp or something. Do you guys have any bands that you team up with for shows? Because, and again, I mean, just from talking to other people from your area, other bands, it sounds like, and I'm sure this is the case anywhere. Bands will often, sort of happens by accident, organically team up with other bands for shows. Do you guys have anybody in that area that you want to give a shout out to that you play a lot of shows with?
Well, we've been playing a lot of shows with From the Tides. They're the ones who referenced us to y'all. We play a lot with them. We used to, before COVID, play with a band called Among the Fallen. Back then, they had their name, I think it was Blackstone. We haven't had a chance to play with them since, but they're a great group of guys. And there's another band around here called The Great Hanging that is just absolutely wild.
Cool. Shout outs to those guys if any of them happen to be listening, or if they hear this later. But we've been, Jenny, of course, she does the booking, and she's been really impressed with all of the talent that comes out of that area. And there's great talent, great bands, great musicians all over the country. But there's a lot of great stuff coming out of Dallas, Fort Worth. So that's really cool. Now, do you guys have a lot of shows planned for this summer, or are you going to be focusing on recording, or what's the kind of the short-term trajectory for the band?
We're actually be pretty busy with shows this summer, which is good. We've kind of, since the pandemic, it's been slow getting into regular shows.
Yeah.
So I think we've got a show or two every month for the next few months.
Good.
I think until June, yeah.
Excellent. What's it like there in the summer as far as playing shows? Because obviously, I'm sure most of the venues you play aren't necessarily air conditioned. What happens in the summertime there?
It's just hot as hell, sweaty and miserable.
Yeah. Oh, there's that sound again. Not a bad thing though. Yeah. I always said rock and roll should be sweaty. You know what I mean? It just should be.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. No, but it gets super hot. And most venues, surprisingly, are pretty air conditioned.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single building in Texas that doesn't have AC. I'm sure it's against the law somewhere.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, actually. So we're gonna play. We'll let you guys go in a minute, and we'll play the new single here, Synesthesia. But before we get to that, is there anything that we didn't talk about that you want to make sure our listeners know about in terms of where to find you online, so everybody can keep up with everything you've got going on, what you're doing, how to spell Trinitite for anyone who's not sure, any of that kind of thing? What should our listeners know about social media? What should they know about to keep up with you guys?
We're on everything except Twitter, and it's Trinitite DFW.
Okay.
Is usually the handle we go with. And Trinitite is spelled TRINITITE. But yeah, it's Trinitite DFW or Trinitite _DFW for pretty much everything. Same for our YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. We post a lot of goofy stuff on Instagram. That's kind of like our main thing right now.
We've got a link tree now too.
Yeah,
and that'll direct to everything.
Our link tree is in the bio of all of our social media platforms. It's got the music video, the singles, and everything you need to see to find us.
Excellent. And Jenny did share that in our chat room on Facebook as well. So very good. So what is, I was trying to remember, I was trying to do it from memory, but I couldn't, I don't think I had it right. So I'll just let you guys tell me, what is synesthesia, if I'm even saying it correctly?
So synesthesia, and I'll probably explain this horribly, but it's basically this weird, like, crossing of senses that some people can get. Like, they can, someone might associate, like, the most common one is chromosynesthesia, which is basically associating sights with sound.
Okay.
Like, for certain people, sound or sights will have colors to them in their head. Like, they can hear something and it'll associate, like, certain notes might be, this is orange, this is purple. It was just a weird concept I was kind of reading about one day that I kind of thought I had for a minute, but just because I think when I think of songs, like the mood of it, the sound of it has a certain color to it. When we write synesthesia, it's like, this part's orange. I don't want this other riff because it sounds purple. I don't know how to explain it besides that, but it needs to be orange because that's what the song is. And so kind of just wrote a rough idea about that. And in the video, we went really heavy with, like, different colors, like in a dark room with different colors for all the different shots, and tried to, like, accentuate that feel of it.
Yeah, the video is great. Anything you want to tell us about the video? I'm curious how you shot this. Did you work with somebody on it, or was this also DIY? It looks really good.
It was mostly DIY. It was all us and Blake's roommate. We had a couple cameras and every light that we could muster crammed into his 2-car garage out back. And we had this, I had a shot list for the day. We had filmed the whole thing in, like, I don't know, 10 hours or so.
Longer than that.
It was kind of a long day. And I've been working on the video piecemeal, bit by bit, for the last, I don't know, year or so.
Okay.
And I'm really excited to finally have it done.
Yeah, that's awesome. And congratulations. Like I said, it looks great. Came out today. So everybody, as soon as you get a chance, you can go on YouTube, check it out. But guys, we'll let you go, and we're going to play the track Synesthesia. But gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here today. And when you've got some new music coming out, we'll have you back on. I enjoyed talking with you, and I wish you continued success. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right.
Appreciate you, man.
All right. You got it, guys. Thank you. Take care.
All right, you as well.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Very nice. That is not quite the whole band. 4 out of the 5 members of Trinitite. And let's give this a listen. This is a new single. The video is out today. Very cool. Synesthesia. This is, and the band is Trinitite. We're going to give this a listen, and then we'll be right back with the balance of our show. Texas Mike is here at the news desk. We haven't seen him in a while, so that's cool. So check this out. on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria.
For delivery, call 603-782-8450.
Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town.
1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Best cocktails around.
Come in as friends and leave as family.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
WMNH, rip the knob off.
It's a great song, but I don't know it.
Welcome back, everybody, as we cruise into our final segment today of Matt Connerton Unleashed. And we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 in Manchester. And hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Wednesday, April 5, 2023, and I am not alone.
If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. That lead guitar is hot, but not for Louisiana man. So rosin up that bowl for faded love, and let's all dance. If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band.
Yeehaw! Texas Mike is in the house.
Yeehaw!
How are you, Texas Mike?
Doing good.
Hey, I have a question. What was going on with John Hopwood? So when you came into the show because you did John Hopwood's television show today.
Yeah.
So you came in and sat down and whatnot, and then John comes barreling in here, and I thought maybe he was joining us, which he was welcome to do, but he comes in and he looks kind of frantic, and he looks out the window, and then he goes barreling back out. It was very confusing.
Yeah, I have no idea, to be honest.
Yeah. What'd you guys do on his show?
Talked about sports. Gonzo didn't show up, so we had a AI Gonzo instead. So.
Oh, wow. Well, I'll tell you what you can do with artificial intelligence now is truly remarkable. So that's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I figured...
Wasn't Kyle there too, Kyle Clayton?
Yeah, Kyle Clayton was there as well.
Yeah,
so.
I saw him in the building. Yeah. I haven't seen him in a while, and I saw him through the window there.
Yeah, so I'm like, when he asked yesterday, I'm like, okay, I'm going downtown. I'm like, might as well ask to come on. Yeah, and then Boise asked me if I could come in on Friday night for Retro Spectrum Radio, so I'll be joining you guys on Friday night.
Yes, we look forward to that. Of course, Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C every Friday night from 8 to 11 p.m. here at WMNH. Friday is my long day here, but I love it. And by the way, so I did bring the painting.
Yes.
I was going to bring it Friday, and then I said to Jenny, I said, wait a minute, Mikey's going to join me on the show today. Might as well bring it today.
Yeah.
So I'll have to give that to you after the show, the painting that Jenny did for you.
Yep.
So wonderful, wonderful. If you'd like to get in with a call, 603-250-6007 is the number, 603-250-6007. I'm on social media at Matt Connerton. You can text me at 617-917-4476. Email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. And of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is give us a call at 603-250-6007. By the way, our friend Rhonda Ostrowitz-Favero is in the Facebook live chat and says, whoa, Trinitite rocks. Yes, thank you again to our friends Trinitite from the Dallas-Fort Worth area for joining us via Skype and their new, the song's been out for a while, Synesthesia, but the single just came out today. And of course, this is a radio show, so we can't share the single with you, but we did play the song. I really like that song. The one that we played before the interview, Defiance in Vain, that's cool. But you can really hear the growth in the songwriting and the production from one song to the next. Because I think that Synesthesia, I think, is a great song. I love the guitar work in that and just everything about it. It really kind of takes you on a journey. So great stuff. So thank you again to Trinitite for joining us today on the program. I should mention, too, we have another musical guest coming in, I think, joining us in studio on Friday. Sauce on the Side. They will be our guests here live in studio on Friday. One other quick programming note, too, I should mention. It is tomorrow is the first Thursday of the month, which means tomorrow night, immediately following this show, I'll be doing my monthly call-in to the Dr. Kevin Show on the Ohm Times Radio Network, and where we discuss politics and current events on that show for the hour from 6 to 7 p.m., streaming online. And gosh, I wonder whatever will we talk about. But you can call us again at 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. Also, I see our friend Crystal from the great state of Illinois has joined us in the Facebook live chat.
They've been dealing with some very severe weather out there. Jeez.
Oh, the tornadoes. Yeah. It's I think I mentioned this the other day on the show. My mother, she grew up in Illinois, and it's they call it Tornado Alley, that section of the country. The Midwest is where they get the most tornadoes. Although these days you can get tornadoes almost anywhere. But she actually saw a couple of them growing up, like up close, like really pretty scary stuff. I mean, they're fascinating. I don't know. Have you ever looked on YouTube? Have you ever looked at any storm chaser videos? Those are kind of fun. I mean, they're scary because, these people are really taking their lives in their hands. But they're interesting. They get really up close to those tornadoes. I think we should look at this. And I don't know if we probably won't get this in all today, but earlier, of course, I talked about Finland joining NATO. I didn't want the bulk of today's show to get sucked up with all the Trump stuff, but he did something that happened yesterday after we went off the air. Trump did go and do his from Mar-a-Lago. He did his statement, his speech. His list of grievances, effectively. And factcheck.org has something up here. And I think this is a pretty reliable website, examining Trump's claims on his arrest and arraignment. And just a couple of quick observations about this. First of all, his lawyers, and he's notorious for being a difficult client to have if you're an attorney. But his lawyers have to be pulling their hair out with this kind of stuff, because this is not what, if you've been indicted for something. Now, again, to paraphrase Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida. I don't know what goes into paying hush money to a porn star, but typically, if you're indicted for something, you don't want to be. There's just some common sense things you probably don't want to be doing. You don't want to be saying a whole lot. When they arrest you, when they read you your Miranda rights, they say, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So I think defense attorneys generally want their even very public figures like Donald Trump, obviously a former president of the United States. You want them to be kind of quiet. You don't want them to say a whole lot because they might say something that might harm them. And you certainly don't want your client to be out there just really throwing bricks, metaphorically, of course, at the judge, at the prosecutor, at their families. You really don't want that. I mean, in theory, you want to try to be on the judge's good side in court, not making them frustrated and angry with you. I guess the judge in this case, Merchant, I think is how you say his name, he did not decide to go ahead and put a gag order on Trump and say, you can't talk about the case publicly. But maybe he wishes he had. I don't know. And by the way, going after the families of these people, as Trump did in his speech, Steve Doocy on Fox and Friends was critical of this. And, on Fox and Friends, they have a very specific formula where if either one of them, I say either one because, who is it? Ainsley Earhart. She always sort of just is a neutral party. But if either of the other two hosts on that show have a criticism of Trump, they sort of do this good cop, bad cop thing where if Steve Doocy is the one criticizing Trump, then it's up to Brian Kilmeade to be the one to defend him. And it works in reverse too. If Kilmeade, like for example, when Trump did that rally where he actually, where he played his new hit single that he recorded with the J6 Choir and showed on the video screens footage of January 6th, Kilmeade said, "That's crazy." I think he actually used that term too. He was very blunt about it. That's crazy for him to be doing that. And I think it was, Doocy kind of tried to, say, well, try to make it seem like not that big of a deal. And of course, with this, Steve Doocy was the one this morning on Fox and Friends saying, going after the families is not a good look. And so it was, of course, Brian Kilmeade's term to play the good cop and say, oh, no, I don't think it's a big deal, effectively. Going after the families, I think, is very dangerous. I mean, look, Trump has the First Amendment right. If he wants to talk about all of this, he can. But when he goes after the families, you do create a danger. I mean, God forbid something happen to a family member of say, the judge in this case. And if you don't think that people will resort to violence if they feel that their leader is aggrieved, and so they also feel that grievance, well, ask Paul Pelosi, just as an example, whether something really crazy can happen and come from that. Look what happened to him. So, so let's look at this. Again, this is examining Trump's claims on his arrest and arraignment. And by the way, too, one other thing I'll just say. Oh, hello to Chris from the band Edgewise joining us in studio. I'm sorry, in the chat room, not in studio, in the chat room. The Edgewise hat joins us in studio because it's on my head, of course. That's what I meant to say. But hi, Chris. Just one other thing, too. Somebody emailed me today, and I'm not going to identify who it was because he indicated to me at one point that he doesn't necessarily want me reading his emails on the air and identifying him by name. And I'll respect that because it is someone I like and consider a friend. But somebody did email me today and said something about, I tuned into your show yesterday and I heard you were just gleeful over the Trump indictment. And so I had to turn it off. And I did reply back to him and I said, you weren't listening very carefully, were you? But I'll say this again for anyone who might have comprehension issues. And I've said this from the moment the news of the indictment first leaked. To me, I'm not gleeful about any of this. I mean, I may joke about it. I do have a sense of humor, and I do inject humor into the show. I might play a political song parody about it, but I'm not taking any glee in this. And I thought I'd been pretty clear about that. That people hear whatever they want to hear, obviously. But you know, I've said right from the beginning of this that I don't think this is anything to be gleeful about. I don't think it's anything to celebrate. Personally, I don't admonish or judge anyone who is gleeful about it or celebrating. That's fine. You can do that. Have at it, you know, and if you have a gleeful or celebratory comment in the chat room, for example, I'm happy to read it on the air. But to me, personally, this is a somber moment. I do not oppose the indictment. I think I'm being pretty agnostic about it, actually. I'm saying, let's let the process play out in a court of law. Maybe Trump will be indicted. I don't know. In some ways, it does seem like a weak case. It's certainly the weakest of what he's got coming down the pike, right? I don't believe that there's any sort of Soros-fueled conspiracy that this is a part of to get Trump. If it is, it's pretty poorly planned, because you would want to start with the most damning thing, which is the secret documents case, not this, right? He might skate on this. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But what I've said is nobody is above the law. The DA has chosen to charge him. Let's see how it plays out. But I think I've been very measured and fair about it. I mean, my opinions, you know how I feel about Trump himself. That's pretty clear. And I don't hide that. This is not, political talk radio by its nature is opinion driven. Most political talk show hosts, they give you their opinions, but I'm not cheering this on, nor am I sorry to see it happening. I'm just saying I want to see how this plays out. Again, I'm not opposed to him being indicted, and I'm a big fan of accountability, no matter who it is, whether it's a major charge, whether it's a more minor charge. We have a tendency in this country, and ideological partisan binary thinking is a big part of what drives us, but we have a tendency in this country to just kind of assume that it's baked into the cake that our politicians are corrupt. So much so that we joke about it casually. I almost don't even want to repeat it. It's such a hack joke. But just as an example, though, we've all heard it. How do you know when a politician is lying? Their lips are moving. Ha ha ha. Right? So we all just take that for granted. And I think we take it for granted much too much. And it causes us to have very low standards. I'm an accountability freak. I believe in holding people accountable. I've been doing this show for actually, it's about to be coming up on the 11th. I think it'll be 6 years that I've been here at WMNH. But I started this show as a podcast back in the summer of 2011. So it's actually, we're coming up on 12 years total that I've been doing this show. Plus I've been involved in other political programming as well. And I've talked about, holding Democrats and Republicans accountable, and libertarians and whomever else breaks the law. We need to hold everybody accountable. See, the binary, because our politics in this country is so infected with this binary thinking that you have to pick a team, pick an ideology, and what comes with that? You pick a team, and then you have to go through the rest of your life really believing that the team that I've chosen to be on is the team that's correct about everything and loves America and is virtuous and just wants what's best for everybody. And the other team is the team that's evil and awful and out to destroy America and hates America and all of that. And what that creates is this system where Democrats want to hold Republicans accountable, but never their own, and Republicans want to hold Democrats accountable and never their own. It's as though, imagine you worked for a big company and you worked in middle management, and you decided you wanted to do something abusive to people working in lower management, right? Like maybe sexually harass somebody or something, right? Imagine what you might be able to get away with if you already knew, as a middle manager in that company, that if somebody in lower management goes to complain to the upper management about you and your conduct, only half of the people in upper management would even be remotely interested in holding you accountable for it. The other half will defend you and will stick up for you no matter how serious it is, the thing that you're accused of. And they'll even say things like, well, what about when this other person did that? What about them? I don't see you being mad about them. Whataboutism. That's how politics is. I believe in holding everybody accountable. And by the way, the person who's emailed me today and said, Matt, you were gleeful on the air about the Trump indictment, which I absolutely was not. Then that same person sends me a story about the Clintons from 2015 and says, well, you say you're independent, but, what about this? And it's like, yeah, what about this? I was doing this show as a podcast in 2015, and I remember talking about that exact story. But in 2023, I'm not going to go back to a story from 2015 that I already talked about when it happened, just to prove to you that I'm independent. I mean, that's just bizarre. It's like when there's a certain other individual who will say to me, what about Lois Lerner and the IRS scandal? Like, yeah, I talked about that on the show the decade ago that it happened. Why would I talk about it in 2023? Anyway, we have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connerton Unleashed. Who's this?
There's no conspiracy, right?
Well, define conspiracy in the... John, you ask these vague questions, and I never know where you're trying to get with them. What do you mean?
Then how come I got locked out? I couldn't get the door open.
What do you mean? To the building here?
Yes, to the building.
You don't? I thought you had a key.
Well, you're going to say that there was no conspiracy because I forgot my key because I put it on another key ring.
Oh.
But I say, well, what about the old number? Why doesn't that work anymore? And you'll say, oh, it's the old number, John.
You know what? I'm starting to think there is a conspiracy.
You just hate Trump.
That's right. That's the logical conclusion to come to, isn't it? Did you?
Yes, I was out there with Kyle after my show, the Men Are Big Baby sports show, and then I found out that I couldn't get back in.
Were you planning to come on? And you just couldn't get back into the building?
I don't hear. Didn't you see me walk through your studio?
Well, yeah, I was puzzled. I didn't know what was going on because we had started the interview with the band, and you walked in and you walked over to the window, and then you walked back out. And I asked Mikey afterward. I said, "What was John doing?" That was weird.
Well, what I was looking out the window to see where Kyle was.
Oh, so then you just couldn't get back in? You don't have the new door? Well, it's not new anymore. We've had it for a while.
My co-conspirator.
You don't have the current door code, huh?
No, and I know where I put the key. But let's get to Trump.
Yes.
If you are running for president, and then you become the nominee, then you become president, and you act like this, like you're a sociopath, and have to be warned in court to stop threatening judges and their children, you get what you've got coming to you.
Yeah.
If it's a weak case, it's still a case, and he made himself like a magnet to attract this. And as you said, one of the weaker cases, and the DA, who was a progressive, did run saying he would indict Trump if he could.
Yeah.
And Trump has offered him ample opportunities to do it.
But
I mean, the one that...
Oh, go ahead.
The bigger case would be the documents case, because there's ample evidence, including his emails, that he didn't want to give those documents up and went through them. You know, I don't know if you use the word tamper, but this guy is a walking disaster.
The thing is, though, there is a good reason for him to do what he's doing, because he does raise a tremendous amount of money. Sorry.
Well, that means he's a whore, then.
He's,
and whoring might be the oldest profession, and politicians who evolved from pimps are the second oldest. But that still is, there's all different kinds of whores.
Because he's raised,
Daniel can tell you.
He's raised $7 million. Actually, the numbers, I'm sure it's even higher now, since the announcement of the indictment. When he put out that post on Truth Social saying that he was going to be arrested, which of course came and went and didn't happen on schedule. But when he did that, within a couple of days, he raised $1.5 million. It's a business to him, and business is good. And I do believe he'll be the nominee.
I don't. But let's see what the cult, you're right. It is a cult. When you say the word cult, I bridle at that. But what does he, what kind of person does he remind you of? He reminds you of those religious hustlers that made TV into a paying proposition, milking boobs for their cash.
Yeah, I mean, the most cult-like thing that I've seen so far was that at that rally when he played that song that he did with the J6 choir, showing video on the screen of January 6th, and everybody's into it, and I mean that was so creepy.
H.L. Mencken, the great journalist, back in the 1920s, wrote, "No one ever went broke underestimating the intelligence of the American people," and he called the mass of Americans the great bourgeoisie. Now, at least a significant portion of the American public has shamed the term bourgeoisie. But, the only bad thing is that he can't be put in jail before the election.
Yeah, that seems unlikely.
It's sad. It's sickening.
Well, I think I believe we're almost out of time, but just quickly, I do believe he'll be the nominee, but I don't see any of this playing well in the general election. I cannot imagine that independents and moderate suburban Republicans who already abandoned him in 2020 are going to look at all of this mess and say, "Yeah, this looks good. Let's get some of this."
This guy is, the word shameless, lifestyles of the rich and shameless. He's beyond even that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go because there's a saying on the internet. I have no words. That they attach to memes.
Well,
I have plenty of words, but not the kind that we can say on Matt Connerton Unleashed. Take it easy, and I'll bring my key next time. Or not, manage not to get locked out.
All right.
Okay,
all right. Very good, John. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, that was John Hopwood. And before we run out of time, we should give a quick plug because, of course, it'll go up on YouTube. Mikey, you were on John's show this week.
Yes.
On what is it called? Is it back to being Ward 13 or is it still WPYP?
WPYP, yeah.
Okay, very good, very good. And we will see you Friday night for Retro Spectrum Radio with Paul E.C.
Yes.
Hello to my dad. I see he has entered the Facebook live chat. And if you missed any part of today's show, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org and at my website, mattconnerton.com. Thank you all, everyone who called today, everybody in the chat room, and of course the band Trinitite, who Skyped in from Dallas, Fort Worth. And I'm going to leave you with a little more the band After Image. Love these guys so much. This is another one of my favorite tracks from them. This is called Thinning, and we only have time for a little bit, but we'll leave you with that. And don't forget, of course, tomorrow, be back bright and early for the morning show with Peter White, 7 a.m. And then tomorrow night, I'll be in for this show, and then I do my monthly call into the Dr. Kevin show. All right. Bye, everybody.